all this shit. Like my life doesn't change.
So
nothing has changed.
What gets you out of bed? I mean, obviously you have a real passion for what you're doing.
I think right now, glory.
Glory.
I want HEX to dominate and crush every other cryptocurrency, period. I want it to be the #1 value market cap crypto, and then I want it to transcend that. I want to see HEX change the world totally. That's what's driving me currently. And the fact that everyone is a disrespectful hater just brings more joy to my eyes, because the next time HEX makes a new all-time high, I'm just going to shove it down everyone's throats again. Last time we were doing the constant new all-time high train, I had to change my username every couple hours because we were up so many extra X that day. I just can't wait to start murdering them with that roll again. Like, hey, everybody.
Revenge, is that
yeah.
what you're hearing?
Yeah, dude. Yes.
Really?
Yep. Yeah. I'm significance driven, man. I wear a bunch of jewelry. I socially signal. I speak loudly. I care about the respect of my peers. I do. And that gives my peers control over me. So I try and choose my peers very wisely. It's a healthy and wholesome thing that stops you from doing a Michael Jackson psychopath thing. A lot of people retire and fucking rot away because they just don't care about other people's opinion that much. If you care about what smart people think, it puts a hedge in you and keeps you in a good place. So, I'm unlikely to do the eccentric billionaire disappearing act, right? Because I like hanging out with people and getting feedback and, doing the best I can. The golden fucking miracle 100% uptime amazing awesome thing that does shit these other guys can't even understand. They don't understand the velocity of money. They don't understand that the higher the velocity, the lower the value of currency. So HEX monetizes lowering the velocity, which increases the value. But they're like, what does it do? I don't get it. What does it do? Well, it's more secure than Bitcoin. That's enough. But no, security is not a feature, isn't it though? Really? Okay. Well, it also has less negative externalities, including the environment. No, I don't care about the environment. Okay, well, it also has superior price performance. Yeah, but I don't care about price. Okay. Well, it also has decentralized exchange ability where you can get the fiat without having to go through the central counterparty. I don't care about ever offloading cash and taking profit. You're full of shit. You obviously care about some of these things, but you just don't want people to sell you a shit bag. So no, you're fucking lying. We do care about anonymity. We do care about protecting profits. We do care about more security. We do care about protection against inflation bugs. We do care about a fucking thing you can claim for free. You can claim Bitcoin for free now. You like free money? Okay, it sounds like HEX is fucking winning. HEX is doing everything fucking right. Give it the respect it deserves.
G'day. G'day, YouTube. Welcome back. We've got a big show lined up for you today. Thanks for joining us. If it's your first time, we're talking about HEX crypto. We're going around the grounds. We've got a lot of bits and pieces we're talking about. OG 43, day 43, AG, middle class working man. How you going, boys?
What's up?
What's going on?
What's up, Pyrate?
Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you.
No worries, mate.
Yeah, mate. So we've already got a few of the stalwarts with the eyeballs on. So, yeah, look, we're streaming live on YouTube. We're also live on Twitch, which I think the tumbleweeds are rolling through there, and also Periscope, which I don't know if it's showing on Twitter or whatever. But anyway, we don't care about all that. But look, hey, we've got a big show lined up. I've got to just go through some housekeeping giveaways and bits and pieces. We've been giving out the free HEX and the guys that have received that we've hit over 100 subscribers. So we really appreciate your patronage there. We've got a few follow-ups around the late emergency end stakes. We're going to talk about HEX stakes and shares. We'll touch on that thing at the start of the intro, the hard forking interview with Richard Hart where he spoke. I thought he did a really good, actually some really interesting insights there, and we'll discuss that. We'll do some general business, but hey, we've got a really special guest joining us all the way from the other side of the world today, boys. You excited? I'm sure you guys want to pick this fella's brain when he comes in. You ready?
Absolutely. Bring him on.
All right. So yeah, next bloke we're bringing on, he hails all the way from Germany. He's one of the very early HEX Good Samaritans in the Telegram channel. I know he was in some of the early. The early troll streams with the HEX Bad and the HEX Wrecked. He's very highly intelligent, advanced knowledge of the HEX game theory. So probably the IQ is going to probably go up a little bit. So we're really excited to have him on. I know he's involved in the HEX Bear chats and the HEX Pro chats, and always helpful, always ready to share useful insights, and probably one of the most respected and highly regarded community members. I know I appreciate his calls and some of his insights too, because he's a highly analytical, technical as well. And I got a pretty good bullshit radar meter, mate. So I know I can sort of tell when someone's being legit or fair dinkum, as we call it in Australia. So Patrick F, let's bring him on. Welcome, mate. Thanks for coming. I appreciate your time and appreciate you coming on and talking to us. How are you, mate?
I'm fine, thank you. Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me on your show, and hope everything is all right on the other side of the world.
How you going, mate? Good to have you on.
Thanks a lot. And actually, I'm Austrian, so
Austrian.
not German. Yeah, Austrian.
Righto.
Here we go.
Lots of times when I was traveling the world, people were asking me where I am from, and I was like Austrian, and they Australia, nice, and I was just like no, just cows, no kangaroos.
That's awesome. Oh, well. Very good, mate.
That's funny. That is
So
funny.
how you been, mate? What's going on over there? What's going on over there? You in Austria? Where in Austria are you?
We're in Austria, and the state is named Tyrol.
When's the exam? I'm not sure.
It's in the western part of Austria. So actually, do you guys have any questions right up, or do you want to? You should do.
Absolutely, mate.
We got heaps of questions.
I would like to,
mate.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
Well, just for anyone who's tuning in who doesn't know what we're streaming about a cryptocurrency called HEX. We're right into it. We think it's, and I say this every stream, we think it's the best thing since sliced bread. And I would like to ask Patrick, if you had to explain HEX to a no-coiner, how would you do it in a way that is palatable? How would you do that?
Yeah, so first of all, Richard Hart gave us the best money in the world with HEX. And for a no-coiner, it's like, do you want to be your own bank? If he or she says yes, then I'm showing how they can get Ethereum, and then I'm showing them the HEX ecosystem. And HEX is a currency like in the old days of our usual paper currencies, where you have a good currency, you can interact with other people, and if you want to create your own savings account, you can do that. Go to the HEX bank, and then you choose, only you in the code, you choose how long and how much you want to stake for which length of time, and trustlessly, the HEX code will give you interest on it. And the longer you stake, the more interest it will give you.
Well, it sounds amazing.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's the easiest explanation for no-coiners. And from there on, we can go step by step through the advanced game theory of HEX.
And if you were to say, if like usually the no-coiner, they've got no idea about, how to go about doing things. What would be your advice to a no-coiner? Like let's say they want to commit 2,000 or 3,000 euros, dollars, whatever you want to call it, into Ethereum so that they can get their HEX. What sort of strategy would you, if they're asking you, what would you give them as far as strategy goes for staking?
Yeah, so I recommend doing everything like step by step. So you never want to go all in or all out at one point of time, because there are certain dynamics, and you also want to have an experience at first. So at first, if you have your ETH back, you wanted to HEX it, then go with the first step. Go with the adoption amplifier, go with Uniswap or ETHhex.com, and just try it out at first. And then if you are more experienced in it, then put it part by part into HEX, and then in the end you have your HEX bag. And then with your HEX bag, you need to stake it. And by staking it, I mean the best thing to do, you take those 15 years you have on the timeline, and then you spread out your risk. You make several steps, you spread out your risk, and then the only time when price matters again for you is when your stake comes out. So if you're like thinking, okay, HEX might be volatile, might be an early cryptocurrency, might have some huge pump and dumps, then just stake it a few years from now, give the market some time to grow, and my honest opinion is you will be fine. Especially if after your ladder, if the average of your ladder is more or less towards the average weighted staking length, which is currently a bit under 5 years, then you are in a really good sweet spot, I would say.
That sounds good. G'day, Blue Bum. How are you?
Hey guys. All good.
Hello.
That was a really good explanation, Patrick.
Yeah, mate.
So, yeah, guys, does anyone have a question for?
Okay. Just a quick follow up on the emergency stake, and hopefully Patrick may weigh in on this conclusion that I've drawn from HEX Graphs. Jack Aramis in the chats, he's put together a really good website called hexgraphs.com, and he's done some detailed analysis. Now, these guys are very credible sources in the HEX code, very knowledgeable on the game theory of HEX. Now, we talked about this on the previous show around, okay, so what happens when a late penalty, or say you don't end your stake on the day? What happens is that basically, and I'll try and explain this in layman's terms, basically the penalties, the stake after 2 weeks, you've got a 2-week grace period, and then after that, you're bleeding out 1% per year for 2 years until the stake is worthless. And that money goes into, it actually just goes almost into a holding pattern. It's not until you run good accounting or you actually end the stake that those penalties get paid to the staking class. Okay, is that correct? Does that sound true, Patrick?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's correct. So how the late end stake penalty works, it's like, so first of all, one tip, when you go to GoHex Win and you stake, you have a calendar there, and you put a date in the calendar, and the date you put is the last day where your stake is working. So for example, if you want to do a birthday ladder, so every year on your birthday, you need to do it 1 day before your birthday, then you will be able, when your birthday hits, that you can enter, and your stake will be at 100% progress. So for example, if your birthday is the 16th of March, then you go to the 15th of March as shown right now. That on the 16th, you can enter, you can end stake, and you will get your principal back. You will get, if you stake now, the big payday bonus and all the accrued interest. And for the late end stake penalties, so if you're late, like on holiday or something like that around your birthday, you have a 2-week grace period. And after those 2 weeks, your stake is bleeding 1% per week. So after 2 years, its current value will be 0 again. But those late end stake penalties only hit the daily payout when somebody runs good accounting on them, or if the user comes back and then mints the rest, which is there in this stake.
And it doesn't have to be, just as you said, it doesn't have to be the user. It can be anyone in the world.
It can be anyone in the world, yeah. We have a guy named Kodak in the Telegram chats. He's a really good developer, and he made the website backuphex.com. So if something happens to Richard Hart, we also have a backup website besides just GoHex.com. And on this backup website, you can run the good accounting function for every stake which is out there. So for every late stake which is out there.
Yep. So that's a really good point, because we talked about this on Sunday around, how is anyone incentivized to run good accounting for a stake? And it comes back to that total, that tangible, or the variable share pool around those penalties don't actually get paid until someone actually runs that function on the smart contract. So therefore, if you've got a stake ending and you end that stake before running the good accounting, you'll end up with, you won't actually get any of those penalties. So it's actually, I think there's going to be some sniping around running that good accounting, because I think people are going to be looking at going, oh, should I wait for a day, or should I wait for a couple of days and then come back and find that someone else has actually run the good accounting for them? Or, you know what I mean? So there's going to be, there's going to be some...
that's the advanced speculative level about it. But why the good accounting function exists is because you see it right now in the biggest cryptocurrency. There is supposed to be millions lost, you know? And if we don't have this good accounting function, those shares would dilute the total pool of shares for the whole time. So
exactly.
So like diluting the payout for every real staker who is still in the who has still his private keys in hand. And for this it is made. And like the second thing might be for some countries for tax reasons, that you can run good accounting first, and maybe you keep it 1 year, or it depends where you live in the world, but it can have some tax advantages as well.
Yep.
Because it's only a taxable event when you take it out. So when you end stake, when you mint your HEX back, this is the taxable event all over the world. How it's going to be taxed is an individual question. Yeah.
That's a bit of an Easter egg, isn't it? That's a bit of an Easter egg in HEX. Which you don't, like when I first got into HEX, it's not something I was thinking about, but then I found out about it and I realized just how amazing that function is in the contract. It's I don't know, is there any, I don't think there's anything else like it in crypto, is there? I think it's
not that I'm aware of, no.
Yeah, so it is really a first in crypto. The HEX contract is a first in crypto in many ways, but that is one way. I mean, what other crypto has an inbuilt tax deferral mechanism like that? That is a lot of thought was put into it, I think. And
I mean, it has a reason why the launch was delayed nearly a year. Because at first Richard wanted to start it at the beginning of 2019, and actually he started in the end of 2019, you know, because he really put all his work into it. He wanted to have it totally bug free because it's an immutable code, so bugs would be really bad. And you since HEX is there, we have already seen 50 or 100 new cryptocurrencies come and go already.
That's right. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, mate. That's really interesting. So yeah. Hey boys. Hey Patrick. Just while we got you, mate. Do you want to share with us how did you get into HEX, and how did you because I know you're quite strong in the area of the understanding the code and the mathematics and also the technical analysis. So you've actually got the fundamentals, the technical, and probably I don't know, I haven't spoken to you. I've seen you on a few of the live streams, and I know you're active in the channels and things like that, but the China analysis as well. Where are you at with how did you come about getting involved and being in HEX? Can you share that with us, please?
Yes, of course. So first of all, I like reading about monetary politics and banking and economics as a whole. And since 2017, I'm interested in the crypto market. And the first thing how somebody wanted to show me the crypto market was via mining packages. So like 6 months later, it turned out to be a scam. But luckily I was like doing my own research back then, and I always was, no, if I buy into crypto, I need to take it like in my own hands, and not to give it to somebody else. Still in 2017, I felt for the FOMO and bought some shitcoins as well. Gladly, I didn't bought IOTA because I watched the video of the founders and Richard Hart. Great video back then, actually. And in November 2019, I found Richard again, and I was thinking for months what I should do with my shitcoin bag, And then Richard came along and told me about HEX, and then I did my own research about HEX. I had plenty of things to research back then because they were like working 2 years on HEX, and I showed up in the mid of November, and it was supposed launch is going to happen in 2 weeks, so I really need to look into that and to see what Richard is giving us here. And through this video of 2017 and also through all the videos I rewatched in the last year from Richard, I was sure that he is definitely not a scammer, and he is definitely not the guy who want to scam people in crypto. He is the guy who wants to make an impact in crypto, an impact to the world, And so, it was pretty easy to dump my shitcoins for ease and then use the adoption amplifier. I FOMO'd a bit in the first day, like everybody. But then I dollar cost averaged, and I looked at the EOS chart, and I was like, I think it might be that HEX is best to buy until day 50 and not from day 50.
Correct.
So
Yes.
that was my strategy, and it worked out pretty good.
Yeah, mate. And I remember I noticed that, I remember we were quite active in the Telegram, and we were having a chat, and who could have predicted the that first pump in April? Because I remember I was sort of thinking, you were thinking it might go up or down between now and April, and then all of a sudden it just blew our whole conversation out of the water. So that was quite funny. So let's have a look at the chart, mate, because I think I want to get your I want to try and get your thoughts on the lead up to payday and what might happen. I've just got one more bloke to add to the stream. He's another ocker. I know he's an ocker. I've had OG day 43 OG headhunting him for a little bit. Jexa, welcome, mate. How you going?
Hey, how you going, guys?
Yeah.
Hello.
Oh, you're gonna wear the silly hat.
Yeah, I know you're always wearing a hat, so I thought I'd better join in the party.
That's good, mate. Glad to see you on stream. Hey, Patrick. So, what are your thoughts about the big
first of all, can you put down the volume and the RSI that we can see a clearer picture of the chart itself?
Okay.
Because I don't need indicators, it doesn't make sense to use indicators in such a small market environment.
UnrekT, just double click on the graph and it'll make it full screen on the actual price chart.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Like this. Does that give you enough to sort of is that do you want me to zoom in? I'm on the 4 hours, so does that work for you, mate?
Go to the daily, because I don't know, are you guys putting in every 4 hours? So I put in something per day,
No, I'm definitely not
and then we can zoom in a bit, and then we have a nice chart here. Yeah. For more, looks good. So maybe a bit, no. Can we have like the whole picture, because the volume 2 chart is only going back till May, because like give us the whole picture that the new guys can see from where we are coming from.
That's Uniswap, so they won't show that earlier.
No, it's fine. It's fine if we go from this May low. It's okay like this.
Oh, sorry, I'm on the beta, so hang on, just let me go Uniswap. Vision off. As you can see, I'm a bloody expert technical. Whoopsie, put the wrong thing in. As you can see, I'm an
you just created it.
Actually, I could do something else as well. Where is it?
You can share your screen, Patrick,
yep.
if you.
That's what I was looking for.
If you want to share your screen, mate, I'm happy to do that. Because as I said, as you can see, I'm all thumbs when it comes to this stuff. I'm kind of.
You can bring my screen on. Actually, you can bring it on if you want to. I already.
All right. Here we go.
Yes. So here we go. Are we seeing it? Yeah. Here we go. So what I'm doing, I like it with the white background and with black and white candles. And here on version 2, we see it back till May, where it pointed the first time to the 0.003 level, so 0.3 cents. And you can see that you see my mouse as well. We can see that we touched it here, and we broke it here. It went up again, and then we got some FUD here, and here we had the lowest point since the last month, and here you can already see that we got huge buying power. Huge buying pressure. So within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, within 1 week, HEX doubled. So this level here, the 0.3, because we touched it from top again, more or less, and then we had some smaller days here. So here there is like a support zone created, and you see it that we touched a high here, we touched it here, we broke it here, but then we got the whale dump. So this candle was the whale dump, dumping 20%. Also in the daily candle, it was huge support. So like everybody bought this dip. And yesterday we broke through this resistance. So yesterday this resistance was still red, but we finally broke it, so it's green support. I guess we will test it again, but it looks like increasing buying pressure towards the big payday. And I think it's only a matter of time that we retouch the all-time high.
Very good, mate. Very good. I'm impressed.
Pre-big payday, all-time high.
Yeah,
looking forward to that.
The
that would be
chances are pretty high, actually.
I think if we didn't have that whale dump all that HEX a few days ago, or what was that, probably a week ago now, this chart would look substantially different. It was just about to break through when he decided he was going to crash on everyone. So yeah, it was good to see it all get brought up. That's for sure.
But as you can see, it's not a huge problem if a whale also sells, because there is enough people who are looking into HEX and who are waiting maybe to buy a dip. So
waiting to buy.
I did think it was nice of him to come into chat and let us know what he was doing as well. It was he didn't have to come and do that.
Well, that's a bullish thing for HEX. That's a bullish thing when a whale dumps, and as Richard has said multiple times, when a whale dumps, he's dumped. He can't dump again, can he? He can't dump those coins again.
He didn't dump everything either. He's still got some long stakes out there, so it's not like he's not still part of the project.
He's still in the sharks. He's still in the sharks, that bloke. So yeah.
So hey, can't blame the guy. He made a good little bit of profit out of that.
And the thing with HEX is, even if we get an all-time high pre-big payday, it's still better to buy in before the big payday, especially if you want to stake longer, like a 5-year average, something like that. Then it's not important if we are at 1 cent or at a new all-time high. It might dump, but you get the big payday, you're staked, just skip the next few months, or maybe skip the entire year of 2021 and start after that with your stakes. So personally, my first stake comes out in November 2021.
Yep.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how staking percentage changes coming into big payday. Look, let's face it, you're going to be crazy if you're not staked at that point in time. So I think we're going to see a massive uptick in how many people are actually staked.
Yeah,
There's a lot of new money. New whale money is going to come into the system. I think that's my guess.
But usually the whale money in the next few weeks will still come through the AA, because I don't think that a new whale want to 50% the price.
Exactly. You're moving the price against yourself by putting in, a couple of mil either side. I mean that's how sensitive the price is. You can put in a couple of $1 million and impact the price either way, or sell.
Well, the adoption amplifier is the OTC of HEX in the launch phase, isn't it?
Correct. It is in a way, very much so. Yeah.
And like if you have a volume of over, let's say, $10,000, then you should already split that in half and try Uniswap first. Look up your slippage, and if the slippage is too high, then just enter with the AA and learn about self-referring first.
Yeah, manage your referral links. Hey, Jexa. Hey, mate. Thanks for coming along. Hey, mate. I appreciate your joining us. Can you? I know we're just sort of a bit of a science experiment. We've been doing these streams now for a little while, and we do appreciate you coming along. We've actually got, I know, for example, Dave 43 OG and the middle class working man are kind of cyber security and big on the security side of things, and I know you are too. And I just want to bring up your website, mate, because this is, I think this is something that needs to be brought to attention. Can you talk a little bit about this, mate? Because this is your area of expertise, mate.
Yeah. So maybe if I step back a bit and I'll give you a brief look at my background. So one of my many careers was spent about 10 or 12 years in the IT industry, and really doing all the security side of things on the networking side. So dealing with the Cisco routers and firewalls and intrusion detection and things like that. So always had a big sort of focus on the security element side of things. And I guess that's where I could give a little bit back to the community, was I guess imparting some of that knowledge and making sure people are doing things the right way with hardware wallets and things like that. And more recently now, I spend a lot of time just onboarding new people into the space, and that's my role, is just to make sure they get into the space safely, getting all their security environment set up, teaching them how to get on exchanges and buy things and store it safely. So yeah, it sort of made sense to put a bit of that knowledge to use. I've seen the good and the bad of doing things the wrong and the right way. I've had people still using hardware wallets but lose passphrases and dumb things like that. So don't get me wrong, you can still come unstuck if you're not being vigilant about the way you do things. But yeah, I guess that site's just my way of getting that knowledge out to the community and making sure everyone's doing it the safest way they can.
If anyone hasn't, what's your YouTube channel, Jexa? Because you have, I have to say, your videos that you've got on security and just the information you've got there are excellent. And there's definitely not enough views there. So if you can just tell us what your YouTube channel is, so that everyone watching the stream can go and subscribe and watch the videos, because they're fantastic. They are really, really good and very informative.
I've got to say, I've never been big on social media or YouTube. So I think it's hexsafe.win is the channel. I don't even know, to be honest. I popped up the website, but I'm really, Hex has made me come out and get involved on Twitter and things like that, which was just something I never had an interest in doing. But yeah, I believe I love the community and I love the way everyone's rallying around it all. So yeah, I've come out into the world of social media and doing my bit. But yeah, I'm sure if you just Google or you go into and search for HEX Safe, you'll find it in YouTube.
So, mate, how did you hear about? How did you find HEX? How did you find HEX? How did you become? I mean, obviously you're in the space. So, did it come across your desk? How did it come across your desk? And what did you think of it when you first saw it? How did you? What convinced you to sort of say, "Hang on a minute, I need to go further than scratching the surface on this and having a look."
Yeah.
What convinced you there, mate?
Yeah, so I guess I think I've come in the same way a lot of people did, where I've seen one or two of Richard's videos, and I've got to be honest, he came across a little bit brash, and I was like, who's this guy sitting on a throne? And I probably, if I knew now what I knew then, I probably would have paid a little bit more attention earlier on. I missed out on his calls about the top of the market and the bottom of the market, so I wasn't sort of paying attention enough. Then I knew Bitcoin HEX was bubbling away in the background, and where I actually live, it's the same. Sorry, just get rid of this, guys. Something's just popped up. Bear with me. Sorry about that. You can still hear me, can you?
Yeah, mate. You're good. You're good, mate.
Sorry. Yep. Yeah, I live in the same city as one of the original devs that was on Bitcoin HEX, and that's Kieran. So I knew he was working on the project, and I'd had one or two coffees with him and briefly discussed it, but not really got into any sort of depth with him. And I knew he parted the project at one point in time, and I had a brief chat to him about that. I didn't know he was going to get on and do a video with a lawyer and stuff later on, but hey.
Yeah, I mean, but actually it was funny because they reviewed like EtherScan on the second day, and then they were like, really, huh? This project already got 3.5 millions? It was a bit funny in this video.
Yeah, I was actually surprised Kieran done that, because I know him, and he's a nice chap. He's a really good bloke. So he obviously had feelings about the project and wanted to vent those. So yeah, that's up to him how he chooses to do that. But yeah, I was surprised he did come out and do that. That's
actually what he didn't get, in my point of view, is he thought that it's just a money-making machine for Richard.
Yeah.
But it turned out it's a money-making machine for all of us.
Yeah, and I think that the only one comment Kieran really made when I asked, I noticed that he wasn't working on it anymore, and I said, "Oh, what happened, mate?" And he just said, "I was just heading in a direction he wasn't happy with." So that was his parting comment, I guess, to me. Each to their own.
That's it. And Richard said as well, yeah, I mean, you just burn devs. You burn through devs when you're doing something as intense and high level as this. I mean,
yeah, he also mentioned that none of his work got into the code as well. So he mentioned that in one of the classrooms.
Yeah, look, I mean, that's just a 5-minute conversation I had with him. Who knows what happened in the background? Old news now.
Yeah, I mean, what happened in the background? No, Richard fired him, and he is pissed.
Possibly, don't know. Yeah,
it's easy as that, you know.
Yeah. That was my sort of that sort of piqued my interest, and I was following the project since back then. Mainly thinking, oh look, I might get a bit of free money if I claim some Bitcoin. Then slowly got sucked into the vortex and started to understand it a lot more, and I've seen a lot of crap come and go over the last few years. Yeah. And I guess the comment I made about this one when I was recommending it to a couple of the other guys I worked closely with, I said just the game theory just looks really solid. It looks like it checks out. And if you look beyond all the marketing and what was going on, that's what really matters. Is it going to unite everyone to act in everyone else's in the interest of everyone? And that's what I thought it would do. So,
actually, maybe the marketing was not bad, because a lot of people heard about HEX and thought it's a scam, and now they experienced like 100 more scams come and go, and then they may look into HEX in 1 year and, this is still around? It's not a scam or what? So maybe it was good marketing as well.
Yeah, how hypocritical is it in this space where, I mean, you've got a project that has worked really hard to build a good community and do everything the right way, and then you got fly-by-night stuff that's popping up in a few hours and just tearing people apart, and not a bad thing mentioned about it. It's just, yeah, I don't get it.
The last couple of weeks have been astounding. Like the amount of scams that have just like, and rug pulls and just like stuff that's going to come undone, and security failures.
And actually, I think that this is a bullish fact for HEX. I mean, maybe those people are so much wrecked that they don't have any money, but in general, it should be pretty bullish for HEX.
Yeah, and I still think people are. You go.
Go on.
Well, it's bullish and bearish because it's a lot of. I mean, it is such a risky kind of like space to walk into, if you haven't been in the space and you're not exactly sure what's going on. Like I imagine for no coiners, seeing like scams left, right, and center dropping is pretty scary to put your money into anything like that. So I've just been trying to like let people know that so that they can know the good ones. You know what I mean? Or know the good one.
You might be surprised how much money's floating around, Blue Bum, that's trying to get in. That's already in, but it's just not in the right areas because it's that trading boiler room situation. And they don't care what the coin is. They don't care if it's a pump and dump, as long as they get in early and they exit when they need to. And they might win 60% of the time and lose 40% of the time, but they still make money overall. So
yeah, I mean, we saw that in April, because at first we got the investor, the Ethereum Genesis whale, and this guy needs to be an investor because he has a lot of ETH. He has his wallet till the first day of Ethereum. There is not much dumping Ethereum in his wallet or something like that, you know. And after that point, we got the traders. Because after that, like a conglomerate of traders stepped in, pushed the price even to 0.6 cents, and then dumped it again. You know, they also wanted to build a whole different project around HEX and so on, luring people into their projects. Yeah.
Yeah, look, traders are going to trade.
You can see that in the chart. You can see all the sell-offs. Yeah, you can see all that in the chart, and that's the beauty of it, isn't it? Like, I mean, having that awareness and being able to see where the where the sell-offs
I mean, the
occur,
chart is only the sum of buyers and sellers. So yes.
Yeah.
And us stakers just love the traders.
And actually,
with
the HEX chart, it's even better because in Bitcoin you just have the chart. In HEX, you can go to hex.vision and I fuck every trade, you know, so you can look it up. You know if it's a trader, if it's a long-term staker, if it's a short-term staker. You don't know who it is, but if you look in someone's wallet, you can maybe say as well, like, what this person is likely gonna do. Is it a long-term investor or is it a trader?
If they're holding a whole lot of liquid, they're just looking to dump at some.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of people out there looking at the stake percentage at the moment and thinking that it's not real strong. And I think they're probably not understanding the whole background and the underlying mechanisms that are causing a bit of that.
And
so
actually, they should be glad that it's that low, because the lower it is, the more HEX stakers are getting paid. And I mean, I like that my staking ladder is complete since day 100, and my long-term stakes already are showing without BBD, only in those 200 something days, over 20% of return.
Yeah, I think that spreadsheet is it. You say his name, is it Brennan?
His name is Brennan. Yeah. That
spreadsheet's awesome, and just helping new people come on board and tapping in a few figures in there and showing, well, this is what it might do. Not saying it will do it, but this is what it could do, and it's pretty mind blowing when you've got a tool like that can actually extrapolate some of this for us and see what it
the
might
thing
look.
is, a few weeks after the big payday, you will need the like 3x the economic energy to get the same amount of shares.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
So,
so
let's talk about that.
Sorry, again.
I wonder if that
go.
could be something for Staker app as well. Like imagine that if you had a kind of a moon page for Staker app where you could put in different prices of what HEX will be, and then you'll be able to see what effect that will have on your stack, basically.
I mean, the interest is a dynamic system in HEX, so it's pretty impossible to really say, like a bank, you will get 10% or something like that, you know. So just an estimation, but what is possible is with the share rate, so you know, like how expensive it will be in the future to restake.
I think Steph was saying that they had some sort of feature where you might be able to look at different, if you chose to use different length stakes, what it would do for your shares and things like that. So I think there is a little bit of that modelling in there, I think. It'll be interesting to see if
I've been having a little bit of a play with that Staker app, and it's really, really good. And I just found out earlier today that you can actually, if you click on the, I mean, I know that we talk about league tables and we're talking purely about the staking class, and I know there's a lot of liquid HEX sitting on the sidelines. But if you're looking purely at the staking class, they've actually ranked the league table now, or the league chart now, so you can sort of see where you sit within your own.
How much percentage of the staking network you own? It shows you.
Correct. Yeah. So that's pretty.
And you can do that for multiple addresses.
HEX as well. That's really speculative stickiness at its best. Those boys are
because
very,
right now with the
nice.
Staker app, you can click on your league and it shows you the rank within your league.
Correct.
Which is like next level of those.
Well, it is next level. It is very much so next level. And interestingly, OG 43, we talked about this, and we always bring this up on HEX Vision, and that's that chart of future supply. And mate,
my favorite chart.
We've discussed this. If we mouse over here, now we don't know what future staking behavior is going to be, but if you look at it, it works out that what do we got, that out of that 10 trillion shares or 100 trillion shares or 1,000 trillion shares that are the total share pool, 25%, if say that all the current stakes, there's no restaking, there's about 25% coming off the chart, so or coming off the total supply. So you know what that means? Like that actually means that the share pool shrinks. So you obviously you can't predict what future staking will be like, and when all those
would you like to have
restake longer?
Yeah. Would you like to have a pro tip according to the future staking chart? So, like, bring it up again, please. Then I will show you something in this chart.
Thank you.
Pro tips.
We would appreciate that. Yes.
You see, like in the big picture, that every year towards end of the year there is a higher spike. Like in December 24, 25, 26, 27. I would recommend to end your stake before that stake and for the restaking, because when those large stakes come out, they will set a new share rate.
They will set a new share rate, correct? Yeah, they will.
So if you want to restake, it's better to end stake before those spikes in December, and then restake it with a better share rate than maybe 2 weeks later. Like with a significant better share rate than 2 weeks later.
I've got a question.
You're talking if you've got a stake that's ending around that period.
Exactly, yeah. So if it's like, if, for example, if you're about to make a birthday letter and your birthday is December the 6th or something like that, maybe choose November.
Yeah, mate.
I've got a question for both Patrick and Jexa. I just want to know what they think. There's quite a massive stakes coming off in the first year there after big payday. And I'm just wondering, what do you think? How is that going to play out? Do you think there's going to be restaking? Like, what do you guys reckon? Patrick, maybe if you go first.
If I go first, yeah, I mean, the thing is on big payday, the selling pressure might increase because a lot of people hold it on for nearly a year. Those stakes are getting out and nobody knows exactly what they want to do. So I think some of them will sell, some of them will restake, and we will see how this plays out. Because if we get enough traction in the next weeks, those sellers may be absorbed by the new buyers. So, but what Richard also said, what he would like to see is steady increase, but crypto is not about steady increase. And I think we will get another wave,
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think a lot of those stakes that were bunched up in the first few months were probably done by a lot of long-term holders, but done at a time when they probably didn't understand the impact of shares a lot. So myself included, I've got a lot of short-term ladders built in around their monthly stakes and things like that, which I probably wouldn't have done now knowing what I know. So in my case, a lot of that will get re-staked out, and I'm assuming there's others in the same boat. There is always going to be the traders that, and even at the 11th hour, will stake just to get the massive lift from big payday, and will probably dump it. It's going to happen. Like, people are going to want to take profits. Yeah, but and I think that the beauty of this is we've got so much economic energy locked in the system, and everyone can see that it's not a race to the bottom. Like, everyone can see that this is not what happens after big payday. It's a small event in what everyone's been planning for 15 years out. So traders are always going to.
Yeah, and as I said before as well, yeah, if you're not sure about if we may get a dump or not, the thing I am pretty sure about is HEX won't die because of a dump after big payday. So it will still be around in 1 year, in 3 years, in 5 years, in 10 years, And what HEX will always have is people talking nice about HEX, because we have the staker class, and this staker class is committed for 5 years, for 10 years, for even 15 years. So they won't go away. They aren't only bots, like someone mentioned a few months ago or something like that.
In any other project you've been involved in, have you ever seen a community come together like this, though? That's what makes a project, I think.
Yeah. No, this is one of the things I like most about HEX, is this awesome community. Like I spoke in the private chat as well with Kyle and with other developers, or even with sexologists a bit. And, it's you have also a transparent founder. So in all of the chat rooms, Richard Hart is pretty active. Everybody can ask him questions, but try to be smart and try to be to ask smart questions. Otherwise, you might get called names. Yeah.
That's why I don't ask him questions.
Did you guys see that Hart talking interview that Richard Hart did on the weekend? And apparently they're asking him a few personal questions about, and he didn't want to dox himself about what car he drives. Is that a crypto thing? Because I don't know. I'm kind of new to crypto myself, and some of the subculture and all the memes and the peppy stuff and all the trolling and stuff that goes on in there. Whilst I find it amusing, what's the big deal if someone knows what car you drive? Is that what's the deal there? Can you enlighten me about that?
Yeah, probably just more ammunition that someone can use to locate who you are and where you live, I guess. Yeah.
I think there are really people who think, okay, he's living in a container or something like that. That in front of his screen there is nothing more or something like that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, something like that.
I can understand it, because you got to say, look, he's fairly high. He's fairly high profile, and he does have that bravado and he's got a certain style and swagger about him. That's for sure. He's definitely a character. Yeah.
Maybe Richard Hart isn't driving a car because I don't think he's leaving his house pretty often.
Yeah, well, that's right. He's big on the old isolation and the COVID stuff. So maybe you're right. But
I mean, he's rich. He just can call somebody who pick him up.
Yeah, that's right. He could have a driver like Conrad Zen. You know, like Conrad Zen's got his own driver that he pays in HEX.
It's great videos. Yeah.
So there you go. Hey, well, that's really great. That's really interesting. All right. So, any other? What do you want to talk about, boys? Any other general business? While we got the you guys, and I do appreciate the intellectual property and the value of having you guys in here and coming in and talking to us. And it's, I mean, the channel's a bit of a science experience. It's just about raising the awareness of HEX in the real world, and also education. And I know that we've got a bit of a following with the hardcore hexicans that like to analyze this stuff, and we're always learning. It's a bit of an onion, with the layers. We're always there's always things that you can pick up and learn, and we are blessed that we've got the best analysis and the best tools in crypto. Is there anything you guys want to particularly look at or discuss? I'm happy to just open it up for general topic.
Yeah, Blake.
I've got something I'd like to point out. It's something that I pinned on my Twitter thread. It was this video with an Indian academic guy who was doing research into hexadecimal. He was doing research into how to get meaningful data out of mass data, and he was talking about how one way you can do it is or one that they've been finding is if you limit the data set to just 6 attributes, and that way the data talks to you rather than you trying to find meaning in all this kind of like massive data. And I thought it was really interesting because and I sort of spelled it out in my Twitter thread that it feels like HEX has, like, we know the price, we know the future supply, we know and I kind of listed through the 6 kind of elements of what we know, and I was just wondering if you guys had heard of that or what you thought of it.
I would say it's possible, but it will still be a model because you can't predict when somebody will press the emergency end stake button.
No, I don't mean that it's a predictive model. I mean that if you're looking at masses of data, one way to make sense out of masses of data is to if you have 6 discrete variables at all times, then the data speaks to you rather than you having to interpret the data. So we can look at HEX as a system state at the moment, and with very discrete defined variables, and because of that, and that's a massive strength of that. It gives you, it's kind of like the sweet spot of a game, because you need it to be complex enough to be difficult and interesting, and it can have different outcomes, but you also need it to be simple enough so that if you just look at it, you can understand it.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting comment. I think with HEX, there is an overload of information and things like the vision site. There's just so much data there that even I get a little bit lost. And when you're sitting there in some of the chats, and you feel pretty dumb when the conversation about shares and things that are going on, because it's quite nuanced and layered, and obviously the devs have been really deep into that stuff. So it's been good to sit back, and although sometimes I can't contribute to those conversations, I'm always reading them and trying to absorb what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. I mean, I would recommend you just go in the Telegram group of the Stake app, because I guess with Fireburn and with Steph, you could talk about this topic way better, because Fireburn was the guy who put it together, the hex.vision site. So he if you say to him like, can you put out this and this metric, and can you do this and this with it, then if he says yes, it's definitely doable. And I guess that those two guys, those two developers, are exactly working on what you said right now. You know, making it more interesting, more with speculative stickiness, with more a bit game-like, a bit more funny, not just stats, you know?
And I guess that's where I was driving to, is I'm happy to sit there and absorb hours of content because I've got a real interest in it. But there's a lot of people that their eyes will glaze over when they're presented with that much data. So it's picking those 6 data points that you're talking about and making them, like, find out what are the most crucial ones and putting them in front of the people that don't necessarily have an interest in all the nuanced stuff, but just want to know what sort of returns they can get and what they should be tracking. So, and I think we're getting better with that, with the T-shares and things like that.
Yeah, that T-share graph has really been a really good tool for simple calculation of your daily interest payments and things like that. But it's been really good to sort of unpack some of the detail with you boys. And just for anyone new who's watching it, if you have got this far, I appreciate you coming along and having listened to us. But get along to hex.com, unpack the white paper, go through the layman's guide and the staking deep dive. Just a couple of quick shout outs. And we're not shilling links or doing anything for our ulterior motive around here. We just want to be, I guess, we don't want to be looking over our shoulder. We want to be dealing honestly and doing things legitimately. But yeah, we've given out probably, and to words to that extent, we've probably given out, the channel's given away over $500,000 HEX and just donations and supporting other crypto community members, particularly within HEX. And the latest winners, we're over 100 subscribers now. We do appreciate each and every one of you guys tuning in and giving us feedback on the channel and these conversations. There's a real value in this intellectual property and learning and understanding the moving parts and dynamics within HEX. VinX, congratulations, 5,000 HEX. We've also, I think Tim Benjamin, another subscriber, we've given him 5,000 HEX, and we've also thrown 5,000 HEX towards hard forking, just for their little experiment. I noticed they're more a trader, they're more a trading platform, and they got a YouTube, and they seem to be Bitcoin maxilies. So just to sort of break down some of the barriers in the tribalism, and just to sort of say, hey, we're here, we're not going away. And by the way, HEX is the best crypto. Would you agree?
Sure.
Totally, sure.
It was really good to watch that hard forking the stream, just because there was guys that obviously watched a few of Richard's videos, and then there was it Stefano? Was that the younger fella?
The young guy, yeah, he's really smart.
Yeah, but it was good to get his perception, where he's sort of coming from an outsider's point of view, and just hearing what he hears about all the scam side of things, and without really delving into it.
I liked it when the older guy said to him, and you are all into DeFi. Why haven't you heard about HEX?
Like that shows how much work we've got to do still, and how many eyeballs we haven't reached. If these are guys that are in the space, I was really surprised.
This is like a message in a bottle. This is a message in a bottle, and we'll probably look back on this in a few years' time. And I know I had the conversation with OG43 previously, and middle class. A working man, and we're looking back and we're going, well, just if we had a time machine, we could go back to sort of 5th of January 2020, we'd be going, gee whiz. But I bet we'll be having the same conversation in 12 months. We'll be going, wow, imagine talking about 4,000th of a cent HEX when it's gone to 50 cent or whatever. It's exciting. We're obviously all pumped for the big payday, and we're all getting into the game theory, and we love the us guys are sort of in there and interested in all that. But for anyone new and comes across this and seeing it for the first time, please go and have a look at hex.com. Go through it, and in a sense, you basically the whole thing works like a term deposit. You set up an account, you put your funds in there, you sign a smart contract, you stake your coins for the longest period of time that you can afford, And then at the end of the smart contract, you unstake the coins, you get more coins paid back to you in interest. And I know we've been going into a little bit more game theory around the shares and the stakes, and that's probably there's some analogies there with how Bitcoin works and things like that. But there's some really, really interesting correlations within that, and I won't go on too long about it, because I seem to sound like I go on like this with a broken record every one I talk to. But yeah, as you said, Jexa Jay, the eyes glaze over when you start talking about some of this stuff with people that are just oblivious to it. I mean, hearing about it for the first time, and Blue Bum will surprise me when he sort of joined us on the show a couple of months ago when we first kicked off. That you'd been poking around crypto for a number of years, and you only heard about HEX for the first time in June. Like, come on. So we got work to do. We got work to do to raise the awareness. We're really just a message in a bottle here, and raising the awareness and getting the adoption for cryptocurrency. And I think Patrick, at the start, your explanation at the start. I think anyone who's out there that can do those sound clips, that little outline that he gave at the start is really useful and helpful for people that are just trying to get it, because at some point in time you absorb this information and it's a lot, and then you have the penny drops and you have that aha moment with HEX. You guys will be familiar with that. There's a point in time where you just go, you know what, that makes sense. I'm gonna pursue that.
I mean, actually, it took me more than 3 months to find out what I am going to do with my HEX bag right now.
Yeah.
And what I made in my personal staking ladder is I started in the end of 2021. I made 2 ladders, one monthly ladder with a decreasing principal, hard to get, but decreasing principal until the 10-year mark, and from there on with the same principal. And the second ladder is a higher volume ladder every 6 months. With the same principle, always.
Yeah, mine looks a little bit more like a bowl of spaghetti than a ladder, but I've tried to do something similar.
I know what you mean.
Actually, I did the ladder without the calendar. So I wrote down a whole spreadsheet, and then in March, I made 180 stakes in 24 hours that I can put in the right days, that I don't miss it, that I don't mess it up.
Breakthrough, wasn't it?
Now it's really pretty easy, like with the calendar function,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I know. Similar sort of thing. I was doing a lot of short stakes that were before big payday, just so I still hadn't figured out what I was going to do. So I was just staking 30 days at a time. Okay, I'm getting a little bit more understanding here, and just kept doing that until I was confident where, okay, now I've sort of got a bit more of a solid plan.
I mean, what I also had was some short and frequently stakes in the year 2021, so in the beginning of the year. And I emergency end staked those. They were all over 50% progress. So do not emergency end stake under 50%. Just don't do it. And I restaked them in my high volume ladder. So I emergency end staked about 20 stakes or something like that. And I put it out to long term and made 3 high volume stakes out of that. And by doing that, I increased my total shares about 4%. And I didn't took new money in, I just took my existing stakes and put it out for the long term. And only by doing this, I increased my T shares total.
Yep. Very good. Hey, working man, you've been very quiet there, mate. What do you got? What's on your mind, mate? Give us you want to share your, give us what do you got, mate? What do you got for us?
Yeah, no, not much, man. I was just trying to catch up with all the CBDC stuff that's been floating around this week. It's quite interesting to see all those, big countries, central banks are all trying to scramble. And I'm just thinking to myself, at some stage, someone's going to make a CBDC pair with HEX or something, and then they'll just take everything will just take off. People will be like, oh, hang on, I'm going to put my money here. Going to rob me 1-2%, whatever it may be. I can put my money here, and it goes exponential. What will it be? Not very hard,
can you expand on that? Because that analogy, what's a CB? What did you say? CBNC? What's that?
Yeah, no, it's a central bank digital currency. So I think, the G7 countries. I don't know if anyone's caught up with what was that? The chairwoman of the IMF. I think she came out and saying something about the Bretton Woods moment, where I suppose everyone's just sick of it, when America only has, 25% of the entire world's GDP, but, 70-odd% the USD's floating around the entire globe. So something has to give at some point.
Yeah. Yet they can export their inflation.
Exactly right. So the game is quite rigged and unfair, I suppose, and people are going, no, I don't want to do this, So hang on, are you saying if I hold euros, I'm actually worse off? Or should I actually, go to my employer and say, hey, can you pay me in US dollars, please? Which that will never happen anyway.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's way better if you want to be your own bank, because, in my opinion, the institution of the World Bank is one of the worst institutions we have on Earth, because they are giving third world countries big loans, like too big of a loan, with interest rate which may look low, but because it's such a huge amount they are lending, even with this low interest rates, those countries often can't repay them. And that's the reason as well why the US can export all their US dollars, all their inflation around the globe.
So you've seen they're doing a live pilot already with the digital currency.
Yeah, they dropped like $1.5 million to, I think, Shenzhen. People in Shenzhen.
But didn't everyone just dump it? I think 95% of the people who got the coin just dumped it, didn't they?
Right.
We dumped it for what? Dump it for Bitcoin.
Like the Uniswap giveaway, or was it?
Yeah.
Was it like the Uniswap giveaway?
When you say dump it, you spend it, right? Go get yourself a bowl of noodle or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's.
I reckon that's China.
Doing.
I reckon that's China setting themselves up for a big play. Sorry, what was that?
Well, that's what it's like. It's like all these countries have. It's like all these countries have cottoned on that we've got to have a digital currency, but they have no idea. They equate cryptocurrency with digital currency, and they're completely different things. And so they're just like trying to. They're just so inept. I just see them as incredibly, like, they would love to have a Bretton Woods moment and all sign an agreement that makes everything well again, but it's not going to happen because too many competing forces around the world, and they can't agree on anything. And even if they did agree on something, like if I got a central digital currency, I'd just dump it for HEX, like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, and also those digital
like
currencies won't appreciate in price because the central bank wants to bound it to the paper version or something like that. So it's not that you can make possible 10,000x with digital currency made from the central banks. Yeah. So I don't
think that's their play. Their play is.
So go, Jack.
Their play is more about tracking.
Yep.
Sorry, man.
Yeah.
Yes. If they can get rid of cash out of the society, that's where it's heading.
But they're already doing that anyway to an extent, It's just that they don't have it in one spot. They've got a whole lot of different silos.
Yeah.
So they still know with what you're spending your money on. It's all electronic at the moment. You know what I mean? Really. I mean, there's a bit of cash in the system, but in Australia, it's 80% digital anyway.
Yeah, I think we're in the minority. I think we're in the minority. A lot of other economies are a lot more cash dependent.
No, well, Sweden is 100% off cash.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for me, it doesn't. For me, it kind of doesn't matter what payment system they come up with, because we're always going to have a payment system to go and buy stuff and to do things. But the payment system, they haven't separated the payment system from the savings account. And it's the savings account which is the important one. It's what you do with your savings and how you can save. And so they haven't come up with this. They won't come up with a solution with that with any central digital currency.
No.
So people are still going to be looking to get like yield on their money, and so I don't see even the kind of way they're thinking is not going to kind of solve any problems.
Yeah, that's
So
why, in
HEX-
my opinion, HEX is the better money. As I said in the beginning, HEX is the better money. It's not
Yeah,
about
true. It's
cryptocurrencies. It's not about this
money.
coin or that coin. It's just HEX is
money.
the better money.
It's a good
Do you see in the future? Could you see in the future a country kind of trying to replicate the HEX contract and making their own kind of I don't know what you would even call HEX, because it's something new, isn't it?
Mate,
I suppose
just
it's CD or something.
forget about governments, forget about business, forget about governments for a second. Let's just unpack this a little bit, take a big picture. Think of how you could capitalize on this opportunity that you know about, this thing that is a better money, that's making the world a better place, and with the knowledge that the likes of the Commonwealth Bank of Australia, the Westpac, ANZs of the world, any of these banks, at their base layer underneath everything that they shill on the front cover is a system of MS-DOS, and now we have blockchain technology. So and then you've got like superannuation funds, you've got companies, you've got all these corporations all just clambering into the space like a big wall of money trying to get in on the next thing. Shareholders, investors, you name it. You could walk away very wealthy with the knowledge that you guys have.
And you're really, really early still in HEX. You know, you're really early.
You know
if you're, yeah, go on.
But the great thing is, it doesn't matter when you come in. Even if you only discover HEX in 5 years' time, I can still see a scenario where it's still well worth putting your money into HEX if you're willing to stake it long.
Yeah, actually,
like if you're willing to stake it long.
A long stake will always pay you pretty decent, because with the shares we talked about early, to restake, you will never be able to get the same amount of shares. You will always get less shares, but the daily payout pool is increasing because its base is based on all ever minted HEX. So even if you get less t-shirts for restaking, it's still a decent ROI if you stake long again. And with the thing with those maxed out stakes, so the 5-5-5-5 stakes, in their last 10%, it's really exponential growth. Yeah, it's
fundamentals.
Yeah,
the value proposition long term for HEX, and that's why you've got the I guess the intelligence and the competency of the people that are involved in the community that can actually see there's a long term vision, and it's because that the elegance and the beauty of the mathematics and the code and the use of the technology of the blockchain that's supposed to be this huge innovation. Well, it is, and HEX has actually nailed it. And I think Richard Hart coined the term that all Ethereum is just a typewriter. It's just the network. It's the substrate. The real value is in
what you put on it.
The crypto is that at the node, or that accrual at the and we can all see the intrinsic value of that digital asset, and we all understand it, but it's getting the word out and making other people aware so that they can actually share in that.
I mean, you said intrinsic value. In my point of view, HEX is the only cryptocurrency or currency who really has intrinsic value because of this new innovation of the share rate system.
Yes, I agree. It's the best crypto, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I'm not interested in any other cryptos. I'm happy to spend my time studying and understanding HEX, and that's why we've got you on, Patrick, because I know you're definitely one of the more.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. No, man. It's it's great to have these conversations. I think that look, if you're watching this in the future, or if you're seeing this for the first time, we do appreciate you tuning in, and we've got some great minds here, and I think we've had some really good conversation. So guys, if you want to keep going, we've got sort of another 10 minutes on the clock. If you want to keep going, or we can wrap it up. It's up to you.
Yeah, I'm happy to hang around for another 10. Then I need to shoot off. But yeah,
I can hang for 10.
Yeah, I was just saying, like we've come in very early, so our view is probably a little bit tainted. Not tainted is probably not the right word, but it's skewed because we're looking at the big payday and the big share ratchet that's going to go after that. But the system, once it gets beyond that, is still beautifully designed, and it's still the golden goose where you're going to have an asset that goes up in capital value, but also pays a stream of income. And to get something like that it is the golden goose. That's what everyone wants when they're investing.
What everyone wants. It's the best thing. Yeah.
I mean, what some people also do is they are putting like their monthly savings, like $10, $50, $100, and they put it into HEX and stake it out for 5,555, and so they are building up their own staking ladder. And like you can also start in 5 years or in 10 years time or in 1 year time. It's your choice. But they starting in like, let's say 5 years, and every month they do another stake, and they don't care about the share rate. They just put their $100 every month to build up their own savings account.
Yeah, exactly. It's good. It's good, but they're good. But they're good. Positive game theory and behavior in HEX is second to none, and it's just you're right. You're right, Patrick. It is like the only cryptocurrency to us here, and that's why I'm not a YouTuber or a streamer either, and we're only doing this because we actually, and I'm probably a little bit at risk putting myself out there and saying that yes, I believe in HEX. Yes, I think it's the true DeFi. It's the best crypto without a doubt. Shut the gate. Good night, nurse. It's the best. It's the best crypto. It's the only game in town. It's the only one I'm interested in. So,
we don't need CoinMarketCap. There is only one ticker symbol.
I mean, shit. That's all right. We'll just steamroll them. They'll be bending over the steamroller to pick up the pennies, and we'll be driving the bus, mate. Just going straight through the middle. That's it.
UnrekT, thank you to you, mate, for putting together a bit of an Aussie theme channel as well. Good to get all the Aussies together and represent as well.
That's it. No, it's good. It's actually good to have you guys coming out of the woodwork, and I obviously tapped into the Discourse Syndicate initially, and just it's a kind of a new skill or craft that we've sort of developed through the COVID-19 shutdowns and whatnot, and yeah, look, it's brilliant to have you guys coming out of the woodwork with have a bit of an Aussie theme, and we've got a bit of a strange sense of humour. But before we go, I got a question for you. Who do you reckon's better at obscene language, Richard Hart or Australia? I reckon we've got a question for you.
I think we knocked that out of the ballpark. Easy.
Yeah,
easy.
You want to do some culture? I'll do a little bit of culture, and we'll sign out after this.
My McAss, it's a McMinute McBreakfast with your McPowdery eggs and your McChemical McFeast McFuck McGoff back to McAmerica. Coming over here and changing our McCulture. It ain't McFries, it's fucking chips. It's chips, it ain't McFries. If I come in here to fucking McMorrow, and it ain't McChange from McFries and McChips, I'll cause you some serious fucking McPain. Because I'll be pissing in your McSpeaker and chucking a rock at your fucking McMenu. I'll McBack McOut of here, and 25 other cunts can McBack. Or wear my bloody McTow bar in their fucking McGrill. McFuck McOff out of here. I'll pinch every McServiette you McGot, put them in my McTruck, keep me and McShits in the McBush for 6 fucking McMonths. And when they're all McGone, I'll McComplain, and when you McRefill them, I'll McFucking McPitch them again. It's my McRight. You put them out here, I'll fucking McTake them. You're only here for my McConvenience. Now fuck McOff back in there.
Right, a bit of ball humour there, a bit of blue humour. He's actually one of the most popular comedians in Australia for some reason. Don't ask me why. But anyway, we've got OG43.
Mate, is he though? Is he?
Yeah. Maybe a few decades ago.
We're teaching Americans how to swear.
That's a big statement.
Teaching Richard Hart how to get, because he's going to get the gloves off soon and give it to him as soon as X goes to all-time high, which won't be too far away. Yeah.
I just want to say thanks to Patrick and Jexa. Thanks for coming on, guys. I really appreciate it. Sorry, my battery didn't do the right thing. And
but still, great talk to you. Enjoyed it.
I appreciate it, mate.
Totally.
It was great. Come back on anytime.
Yeah, I'm already thinking about coming back, like before the big payday or something like that, to look up over the stats with you guys again, like see what changed. Yeah, how far we got.
Awesome. We'd love that, mate. We'd love that. Jexa, and you're welcome. Fellow Aussie, anytime you want to come on as well, you're welcome, mate.
Yeah, I'm making a bigger effort to get out there and get my head in front of the YouTubes and whatever and the D lives, and I think we've got a lot of work to do, so I want to push this message as hard as we can.
HEXsafe.win.
That's the one.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Hey, and if you want to see more of us, we're doing weekly streams, but we've actually been bumping it up a little bit just to get in front of it as a lead into the big payday, as the excitement builds and how we're all looking at it, and we're all involved in the HEX Game Theory. But yeah, hit the like and subscribe if you want to see more from us, and we do appreciate each and every one. We've got our live comments and viewers, and as well as the guys that watch us in replay because of the time differences and things like that. So hey, yeah, boys, any final words, and we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, I would have some final words. Not your keys, not your coins. Crypto tend to go down 80% from time to time. Do your own research, not financial advice, just ideas for your portfolio, and be your own HEX bank.
Wow.
Beautiful. Thanks for having me, guys.
Cheers, boys. All right, we'll catch you later.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Give me the priesthood, Mac all up on it, man, you know I'm about to spit the art. Hey, yo, they asking Harry, have you heard of Richard Hart? He created HEX, it's a smart contract that pays interest. Never heard of that, but I'm itching to learn a little more. I'ma burn it, that's for sure. Harry Mac, I grab the mic, then they return it to the floor. They dance, and I'm enhancing the way that y'all are feeling. Harry Mac, when I be spilling lyrics, we gon' make a killing like that.
I tell them what's going to happen. It happens. And then everyone that was wrong, they're just like, oh, let's pretend it didn't happen. I was like, hey guys, Ethereum beats Bitcoin, Bitcoin beats the dollar, and HEX beats both 2020. That's what I said. That's what happened. Where's everybody else's predictions? Right? That's like, why don't they learn? Why don't they learn? If you write an article and you're wildly wrong, stop. Stop being wrong. Apologize. Write something to cancel out the pain and horror that you cause people early for no fucking reason. All this gatekeeping, by the way, it hurts the entire community. All of these people that are getting scammed by garbage are getting scammed by garbage because they didn't invest in HEX. You're not stop hurting the fucking cryptocurrency ecosystem by funneling attention into things that are trash, that don't have security audits and are not safe. Stop doing that, you fucks. And who's doing it? All of the influencers and all of the exchange owners. All of them. And all of the ranking sites. Oh shit, well those are like next to the miners, the three most powerful entities in the whole ecosystem are shilling fucking garbage that's getting people wrecked. Yep. And who's promoting not trading? Who's promoting things that have security audits? Who's giving away things for free? And the assholes that talk shit, what are they doing? Causing harm. So, fuck them. Look, man, we were nice and chill for 8 or 9 months. Okay, we did that. Now let's try the other thing. Because being nice didn't fucking work.